will be very important. And creating a program in a way, now that we have Washtenaw Community College as one of our partners, will almost be seamless. And through 12th and 13th grade, they would be doing senior thesis and work within Washtenaw Community College and Eastern if that partnership comes along. So it will almost be a seamless transfer from where we are here right into a college setting or into a setting beyond grade 13 that they might go right into a trade or a technical program because they got that experience from Washtenaw Community College or from Eastern. And we do want to, we put in blue there that we do need to make sure that we apply for to the state for middle college status. We know that that has to be done. So you kind of put that there and highlighted it. Is there anything else that
No, you
want to say
forward
there?
now.
And one of the things we feel is important is to look at the shared understandings and to realize that this process is going to take time. It will be transitional at the beginning, and that instruction should guide the program. And if you look at this first bullet, instruction and student needs really need to drive what we're doing. That needs to be first and foremost in any decisions that are being made. And so being mindful of that, facility decisions may be fluid as programs grow. And so we can't marry ourselves to those facilities that may be there next year. 3 years down the road, the program may be completely different and needs some different, have some different needs. Working with a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Having a rigorous core state standards-based curriculum. We really did a lot of work on this over the last couple of weeks. Actually, with community partners, have a lot of ideas and a lot of names that we will be contacting. Community partners are huge in this whole process, and they're necessary. And then to have, as we showed with the arrows, some inter and intra SLC collaboration. And then again, these are some of the current programs that we know are existing. We need to be mindful of those programs as we move forward. And the next slide says questions.
Ready for Cal State?
Okay, get over.
As long as my safety caption has yeah, I
Pull the screen up too if you're done with it.
Hi. So I see that on the lower grade end, you're always starting with grade 5. Are there options to keep grade 5 with elementary and start with grade 6? Or is that you're still kind of in play? Or are you always going to start at grade 5?
Right now, the thinking is that that's just an option because the district decided to keep a lot of that decision not in play. So it gives us an opportunity to kind of to do that, keep things kind of where they are in certain places, but it also gives us an opportunity to kind of look at what would it look like if they did have a small learning community. And maybe we would decide after we've looked at it that, you know, given what's happening and where we need to go, that we'd make a different choice, or maybe we decide that maybe that's something that we like or parents are interested in and we might need to expand. So it just gives us an opening to kind of think about that while we're in this transition phase.
So we're thinking about that we're doing this in phases, and that the board made that early decision of keeping a couple of the programs, and it turned out to be pre-K through 4 in place. That gives us time to figure out what those small learning communities need to look like for the following year or for phase 2.
I think just to clarify, I don't know if this is clear. In Ypsilanti, elementary school goes through grade 6 right now. In Willow Run, middle school starts at grade 5. So it's just how do you make that option available so that those 5th grade parents now have a choice of either in 6th grade. They can either be in an elementary program or a middle school type program or 5-8.
And you have to think about that because you will have 200 students that are displaced next year because we're saying elementaries are staying intact, but we won't have necessarily anywhere in our elementary buildings to place those 5th and 6th graders. So we have to plan for those 200 plus students and what their education will look like. So we're giving them the choice. Maybe they will choose to go back into the elementary model, which is currently in Ypsilanti, or they may choose to go with the model that we presented, which would be more of a secondary option like they're in right now.
And you can have students leaving Estabrook, right? Emptying out of your school that goes up farther into, so.
And it gives us a chance as a district to think about elementary and secondary and readiness issues. Everybody isn't ready to do things just because we're a certain grade or we're a certain age. So if we leave some openings, it allows us to really be thoughtful and think about what does it mean to be ready for the secondary level and what's expected instructionally, what's expected from a social perspective, and then it allows us to kind of think about even communicating that, like working with families of their kids and kind of having some choice around that idea, some flexibility, especially right now when we're still trying to figure out exactly what's the best, and we've got a short period of time to figure out how to get started in September. But that doesn't mean that we'll have all of those best ideas figured out in the next 108 days.
It was always intended that we would look at the elementary during the course of this next school year, that we had to chunk the work, and because of how the configurations differed, it creates this anomaly, but actually it's a great opportunity to really test what might work and to kind of see where the parent demand is educationally, what might be a good structure, and then we have flexibility, and we can take that learning and build it into how we look at the whole system for year 2.
Another question. So, have you sort of layered the small learning community opportunities on the balanced calendar learning opportunities? Or those, will they enhance each other, or are they just being done independently?
Well, we're all part of the umbrella of the high quality teachers and teaching. So and we're all, because all this advisory group work is happening pretty quickly in a short period of time. There's a lot. We're always pretty mindful of, like, actually in your executive summary, you'll see there's a part where we put, these are things that we know are going to, that are connected, I can't remember the word you used, that they're intersecting with the work of other people. So that work would intersect. We haven't, and we know it's there, but our committees, the big focus right now is really looking at the integration and figure out what we can handle. So maybe, Naomi, I don't know, you might be able to speak better as the balanced calendar, what you think, how that would fit.
I think they're absolutely very much, they come together. And I think one of the things in the secondary that we talked about from last summer even, right, in the visioning sessions, was the idea of not being bounded by time so much at the secondary level especially, that learning can happen all day, all year, that kids might be taking classes at the university, we could even organize our high school so that classes are in the evening, and there's more, work around our other co-curricular activities even within a day, not just across a year. So it leaves, I think the small learning community concept leaves tremendous flexibility. I think what we're doing is we're making sure every option still remains open to us in the best way possible, with tremendous flexibility.
Some of the feedback we got, and I can't say it's a lot of feedback, but like the community forum last Saturday, one of the things we did hear from families was that people talked about earlier, is this idea that if we're partnered with Washita